Hello, America. This Call of Duty Goddess. Today is March 22nd, 2016. I have an article here from the Oregonian titled Portland Approves $30,000 to Help Homeless People Bus Out of Town. And this article is dated March 17th, 2016. Well, it turns out that I did a part 1 and a part 2 on the homeless in Portland, Oregon, called Social Cleansing in Portland, Oregon and Social Cleansing in Portland, Oregon Part 2. So I thought it would be educational, to say the least, to combine the three and really learn something from this. So let's get started. We'll start with the article. Portland will spend at least $30,000 helping a few dozen homeless people leave town this year. So let's hop on over here to Social Cleansing in Portland, Oregon, Part 2.
Kyle, you've uncovered a number of controversial programs actually bringing the homeless to Portland.
What? Did he say bringing the homeless to Portland? I thought they were shipping the homeless out of Portland. Okay.
Joe, News Channel 8 has identified several cities, including San Francisco, San Diego, and St. Petersburg, Florida, that are providing one-way bus tickets to the homeless. These programs are intended to reunite them with friends and family, but that doesn't always happen, and often they're right back on the street.
Huh. Would you listen to that? So, let me get this straight. Portland will spend at least $30,000 helping a few dozen homeless people leave town this year, while at the same time, homeless people are being bussed into town from other areas. How does that work? Huh. And we'll just finish up this sentence here because we haven't even finished a sentence yet. Offering bus fare plus services to volunteers who've lined up another place to live. Let's head on over here to Social Cleansing in Portland, Oregon to find out how these volunteers get their ticket.
So here I am under the steel bridge, and they have a homeless sweep going on. There's lots of cops, inmate worker crews. Looks like we got the bike theft task force, positive action cleaning.
So that's how you get your ticket. Positive action cleaning. Social cleansing. So let's move on down and see what else we can learn here. Though among the smallest allocations approved Wednesday, the bus fare program has attracted significant notice. Called Homeward Bound, it's similar to programs offered in other cities and also locally among domestic violence providers. Portland's effort is directly inspired by a program with the same name in San Francisco, said Kirk Krager, the Housing Bureau's director.
San Francisco's Homeward Bound program has paid for one-way bus tickets for more than 5,000 people, so long as there's someone willing to receive them on the other end.
I'm sure it saves the city of San Francisco a lot of money.
It's not clear how many homeless have come to Portland on one-way bus tickets. It's likely just a fraction of our homeless population. But we do know they've come from as far away as Florida.
So if there's people willing to receive them on the other end, why are they homeless? There's something funky going on here. So let's get back to the article here. Likely participants will include people who might like to leave Portland to live with family or friends or land a job.
When her Greyhound bus pulled into town 6 months ago, Maria Castillo got off with 2 bags and a dream.
Esperanza, start over, start a new life.
Maria had been homeless in San Diego. She was down on her luck until a social worker offered her a one-way bus ticket to Portland.
And they say they come up here because of the opportunity, Portland, Oregon.
But life isn't much better here for Maria. Different city, still homeless.
So back to the article. Why would they say that there's opportunity in Portland when clearly there wasn't? It's got to be a money scheme here. Let's continue. But currently have no means of moving. Participants will have to prove they've locked down a secure place to live.
These one-way bus tickets are intended to reconnect the homeless with friends and family who can offer ongoing support. But if that doesn't happen, the homeless are likely back on the street in a new town.
And if you think about it, how can you prove if you're homeless or not to these people? How do they know if you're homeless? Heck, for all I know, there could be people just traveling around the country on my taxpayers' dime saying they're homeless. This has got to be a scam. I've just got to say it. It has to be a scam. Something just isn't right about this. So let's continue. Officials have cautioned that it's more than a means of sending people to some other city with one-way tickets, their ultimate destination unknown.
They're trying to sweep reality under a carpet.
Homeless advocate Ibrahim Mubarak says these programs merely move the problem around.
We inherited a lot of cities' problems.
So I guess the officials have figured out how to not move people around from place to place and rip off the system. I guess. How they did that, I do not know. I'd like to see a plan. Although I do not live in Portland or Oregon, I'd be interested in learning what this plan is, because it sounds like a bunch of hoo-ha to me. So let's continue with the article here. Kreger said participants will be assigned case managers who will verify any job or housing offers. We don't want to export the problem to another community, he said. We're trying to end homelessness. We are not trying to move homelessness.
So how many people have you given one-way bus tickets from St. Petersburg, Florida to Oregon?
Since about 2002. 13 that actually got on the bus, that we put on the bus. I think there was 17 that applied, but for whatever reason, they either didn't come back or we couldn't make a solid contact about what their plans were.
And is there any follow-up to see how they're doing or if they made it?
At this point, we don't have the people power to do that.
So let me get this straight. Portland, Oregon is starting a program called Homeward Bound and modeling it after a program from San Francisco that is obviously a failed program, because now a lot of people from San Francisco are homeless in Portland, Oregon. Why would they do that? Because this investigative report was published in 2013. So this knowledge has been out there for a while. So you would think that they have designed this program differently than San Francisco. I don't see how this program could not be a ripoff or a screw up, because it's just shipping people around. So you just witnessed real investigative reporting as opposed to this propaganda arm of the government, which is somehow, some way, receiving funds from the government to do their propaganda work for them. So, when you consider where this article came from, you gotta wonder about the program. This is Call of Duty Goddess signing off, and as always, I've got your 6.